What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com. Well, we had the Haskell last weekend, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a Breeders' Cup win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. So I thought, well, we'll bring back the rankings, the top 10 Breeders' Cup Classic rankings heading in to this weekend's action, which the Jim Dandy is this weekend. It is not a Breeders' Cup Classic prep, but it's definitely going to have some implications for sure, and we're going to have horses that are in this top 10 that will be running in the Jim Dandy. So the Breeders' Cup Classic is really starting to heat up. And oh, by the way, then the next weekend we've got Life is Good versus Olympiad in the Whitney. So, and then it really heats up on the first weekend in August. But let's get to the rankings for this week. We'll see here if the Haskell had any impact on my overall rankings. I'll pull up the screen for you now. All right, so this is my poll this weekend, or this week for the Breeders' Cup Classic rankings, and I did put the winner of the Haskell at number 10. I did put Cyberknife at number 10 here. You know, this is a horse. Brad Cox has tried to warn us, right? He's told us for a while, this horse has talent. He told us way back in December, this is the only horse I've got this year that has a shot in the Kentucky Derby, or the only horse maybe that could make the Kentucky Derby was Cyberknife. He just hadn't been able to put it all together. He just had been kind of all over the place. He did earn a big win in the Arkansas Derby, but it was kind of a slower time. He was nowhere to be found in the Kentucky Derby. He did go win the win after the Kentucky Derby, but man, it was a little rough. It didn't look great. He came into the Haskell, and even if you watch Blinkers Off, I just had a feeling this horse was going to run a pretty good race here, and he did. I wish I would have picked him to win. Did not do it, but did use him. And Cyberknife at number 10. I feel like he's earned that spot. He won the Haskell, and listen, if he can repeat those kind of races, he is going to be within range here. I don't know if he's going to be like a major contender, but he's definitely a top 10 player for the Breeders' Cup right now. Second place finisher, Taba, I would probably put him 11th. You know, a lot of people are going to blame Mike Smith for Taba losing that race, but look, the horse turned for home. I was standing with 3 or 4 guys that know about racing. I said, I think Taba's going to win by 4. They're like, nah, maybe 5. He just got beat down the lane by Cyberknife. That day, I think Cyberknife was a little bit better horse. All right, let's go on to number 9. That's Epicenter, and number 8, Early Voting. Both horses going to run this weekend in the Jim Dandy. So we'll see. You know, they're at 8 and 9 right now. I think that's where they belong. Certainly could jump up with a win coming up this weekend. We'll see what happens. Number 7 is Charge It. I thought he was going to run in the Jim Dandy, kind of hearing that he is not, or maybe, you know, he's going to wait for the Travers. So we'll keep him at number 7 for now, and we'll see what happens with these Jim Dandy horses and kind of compare them to Charge It after the race ends, and also compare to Cyberknife. And we'll see. Maybe if the Jim Dandy is not great, Cyberknife moves up the rankings without even running. So we'll see what happens there. 6 is Hot Rod Charlie. You could always count on him to be around, not so much win. He has trouble finishing races, but he's right there. And, you know, he's hit the board in some huge races. He deserves to be number 6. American Revolution, last time out, was second to Olympiad in the Stephen Foster. We'll see what happens with him, where he runs next. I doubt it's going to be the Whitney against Life is Good and Olympiad, but we'll kind of see where he goes next. But he showed up and ran a big race at Churchill after a really poor race in the Blame. So I think American Revolution is kind of back on track. Number 4 is Country Grammar. He is training now at Del Mar. He is heading for the Pacific Classic as of right now. So we'll see what happens. Of course, he has not started in the United States this year, but second in the Saudi Cup and a heartbreaking loss, came back to win the Dubai World Cup. Bobby Baffert's back, so we'll see what Country Grammar has in store for us. Number 3 is Olympiad, and number 2 is Life is Good, and that is the matchup I mentioned a little bit earlier. It's going to happen next weekend, the first weekend in August, first Saturday in August. It's going to be a showdown. If you remember, we had Knicks Go versus Maxfield last year in a race where a lot of people said, hey, this is going to decide who's the better horse, who are we looking at going forward. Knicks Go won the Whitney. He also won the Lucas Classic. He also won the Breeders' Cup Classic. So will it happen again here? Will Life is Good get the best of Olympiad? Will Olympiad get the best of Life is Good? And can they go on to win the Breeders' Cup? The Whitney, such an historic race. Going to be awesome to see those two compete next weekend. Finally, at number 1, and I think, again, if he can get the 2 turns of 1.25 miles in the Pacific Classic, number 1 Flightline is going to be awfully tough to beat. He just kind of seems to be in his own kind of realm right now in horse racing, but the problems are there. He's never went past a mile. They have trouble keeping him on the track. He hasn't been healthy. All the stuff. So we'll see what happens. But look, I mentioned Country Grammar is pointing for the Pacific Classic. If he matches up with Flightline, we're going to learn an awful lot because while I think Flightline is a more talented horse than Country Grammar, at 1.25 miles, who knows? Country Grammar has looked very good going 2 turns in longer races several times in a row. So that will be a serious first test for Flightline. It'll be really interesting to see if he can do it. That's going to be very exciting, but he's earned that number 1 spot as of right now. So that's the top 10 as of right now. It says right up here on the screen, July 24th. That was yesterday when I submitted those votes. So like I said, we got the first weekend in November. That's when this thing happens. But as of now, this is our top 10. I think it's a really fun division. I think of these horses, even if, say, 80% of these horses stay healthy, get to that race, I think it's going to be awesome. I really like what I'm seeing here. Listen, a horse like Cyberknife is number 10 on my list, and he just won the Haskell, and he got a buyer over 100, and he's number 10. That's a pretty good classic, if you ask me, if that's kind of what you're thinking. But a lot can happen between now and then. So make sure to check out the Jim Dandy this weekend. We'll see a couple of these 3-year-olds. Let's see how they match up to Cyberknife, and we'll be back next week to kind of talk it all over again. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video and every video we do. We greatly appreciate the fans. We greatly appreciate all of you for watching, hitting like, subscribe, all that stuff. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and do so. I think you'll really like our YouTube page here as we talk horse racing pretty much 24/7. So thanks everybody for watching this video, and we'll see you next week for an update after the Jim Dandy.